you'll get. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So welcome, I guess it's 12:10. Welcome to those that are here, and we typically pick up people as we go, but thanks for joining. I'm Cheryl Jacobs. If you don't know me, Synod Executive Officer, and also the keeper of DIMS and the statistics form, I guess. And with me is our treasurer, Philip Shepherdson. He's treasurer. He is the mostly interested in your financial returns. But so thanks for joining. We got that presentation. If you have questions at any time, please ask. And we'll have time for more questions at the end. Is the plan. Yeah. So we are talking today about parish annual returns. Oops, sorry, two mouses here. Particularly three parts: the annual report with the financial statements. We do, if you can send us an electronic copy, that's great, and we have it. Comes in handy if you do get in the case of we're looking for a new incumbent for your parish, so that we can easily send that out. You can send that to synod@anglican.nb.ca or really anyone in this office, and it will get moved on. If you also want to send a paper copy, those eventually make it their way to the archive, so that's good as well. But you know, we can archive the electronic ones as well. So that's just part of the annual returns. The other two main parts are the statistical and financial returns. Those are online forms, and we'll look at those in a few minutes. And reporting on your parish elections and other appointments, and those are updated and stored in DIMS. So we'll look at that in more detail as well. So any aren't aware, on our website we do have a parish officer resources page. It's under our resources tab at the top menu bar, and within that, on the top row of the pictures you see at the bottom of your screen, is the parish officers button, I guess. And so if you follow that, then you get to the parish officers resources page. There's some things on the main part of the page and some other links on the left-hand side of the page. But one of those pages is the annual parish return. So this information's all there. You want to go back to that. There's also the parish officer handbook, which hopefully everyone is aware of, which gives lots of information on being a parish officer and all the things parishes we need to do so we can work together well. So again, now moving on to the statistical and financial returns. This is from that resources page. There's some links there. The links to the online financial report and the online statistics report. And of course, we're reporting for 2025, even though we're doing it in 2026. The date we would like these done is April 15th. We have, on the statistics side, we have to report to the national church, and on the financial side, both. You report to the national church, and it also feeds into the shared ministry budget calculation. Yes. So the sooner we get them, the better, and we can get that out of the way. Obviously, with a synod on April 18th, I'm not going to be doing anything with this on the 15th, but you know, besides the two links to the online form, there's links to the working copy. So that's basically a PDF of the form that you can use in with your own gathering of information. We don't expect those to be sent in. As long as you do the online form, that's all we need. The working copy is for you to keep, or to see what the questions are, gather the information, and possibly keep after the fact. You can also print your online form once you've filled that out. So I'll start with the statistics. This is, once you click that link, you go into this form. Again, if you're multi-point parish, we want the totals for the parish, not each church. And we only submit it once, preferably. If you have to make changes, you can send those in to me for the statistics, or to Philip for the financial form. We hope to get to the point where, it can sort of be like it was in DIMS. You could go back and forth and go in and out and update things, but currently we're not there. We've had to do it by this new way. It does add, so I think that's the introduction. Then if we go down the page a bit, it asks for your parish name. Don't need the whole corporation of the Anglican parish of. You can just say Fredericton, or Riverview, or Christchurch Cathedral, being obviously the exception to that. And the name of the person completing the form, just in case we have questions, so that we can come back to that. It's a series of screens, so you then press the next button, and then there's a number of questions. So it may be that your incumbent does this, or you as an incumbent do this, because it does involve obviously totaling things from the parish registers, which are normally kept in the sacristy. So there's a number of questions. Some of the questions are required, some are not. But in this case, some parishes have traditionally left off some of these first questions, like number of families, number of individuals. Those are the questions we do need to report to the national church. So if they're required, if they're marked required here, it's because they're required. So the form won't let you enter 0 or skip over them. So, at the end of the statistics return is a few years ago, we kind of came up with this ministry profile questions. That's been incorporated into this form. So there are some general questions about your mission and mission, sort of mission and ministry in your community, within your parish. So those are very helpful for us to see how we're doing as a whole. But at the end, you can submit your form. And okay, it's not here. I'll come back to that. On the financial return, similar, please do it once for a parish. Consolidate. If churches have separate books, which they should not, but if they do, please consolidate those. Again, if you have to update, just please send it to, it says finance@dioftn.ca. That will get to Philip and team. And good news this year.
Yep.
Philip has reduced this form, so he's taken off a couple of the sections.
I just really wanted to report on the income statement. So I'm less concerned about what I call the balance sheet. So that's your assets and liabilities. As long as you send in your annual report, we'll be able to see that. So you should have, on your annual report, you should have a complete set of accounts, being your income statement and your, what we call the balance sheet. So we don't need, it's just the income statement. That's what I drive. And I do a couple of things. When I get them all, I then validate things like, what did you declare as your shared ministry budget assessment? And I check that to the assessment. I have a look at your insurance costs and see if that tallies back to your insurance premiums. So I do some other checks on it, which are quite useful. And then I do a sort of a quick eyeball. I think one year I found someone had put an amount that was $1 million for expenditure, and it should have been 1,000. So I do some sort of validation checks on that information to make sure it looks okay. And then I do have a look at prior years once we take that information, and that's what I use as my starting point for calculating the shared ministry budget assessment for the next year. So we can then look at trends also. Good news, I'd had a look this morning. I think about a third of parishes had submitted their returns, so that's excellent. Thank you very much for those who have done that. You're well ahead of the game. I appreciate that.
I would note we sometimes have some extra trailing zeros on the stats form too. So either a parish has grown significantly all of a sudden, or someone typed an extra zero, but that's fine. Those tend to stick out. So you can, for both the statistics and the financial form, you can save a copy of the return. So at the end, you should see a screen that looks like this. This might actually be last year's, but anyway, up in the top corner, there is three little dots, and so you can print your response, and one of the options to print is normally print to a PDF. So you don't necessarily have to print it, but it prints out and it looks like the online form. It's just a ton of white space and stuff. It's not very elegant, but at least it does show you what you put in for your responses. So, and again, if you need to make changes, please contact us. Any questions on, I haven't looked specifically at quite specific questions. We can come back to that, but are there any questions at this point on the?
I would say just one for the financial. I think some people get confused, particularly when you're reporting investment income. And what we're probably saying is when we send you out your 6 monthly statements for particularly the DCIF, we will give you a return which has all of your individual trusts or funds identified and how much interest we're paying out on. And what we don't know in this Synod here is which of those are truly trusts versus funds and which are restricted or not. So what I do say is just be mindful of that statement. And if you can, and you know that certain funds, and I'd say things like cemetery funds, are restricted, you do make sure you pull that out and don't declare that as investment income operating, because that's clearly restricted by nature. So as if you're a treasurer, you've got the ability to separate that interest out into restricted interest income or non-restricted interest income. And it's only the non-restricted interest income that I calculate for the shared ministry budget assessment. So that's just something to be aware of. I think I've noted that over the years that a lot of the interest income seems to be just lumped in, and you can separate that out. And if you're not sure how to do that, we can perhaps help you. But we don't know what necessarily is restricted versus non-restricted. So that's just a tip or pointer for people. Catherine's got a hand up, I can see. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do I put revenue from Canada Helps?
That's probably going to be donations.
It is donations, but it's not coming in through envelopes. Is it open or is it
I'd say
fundraiser or?
No, I don't think it's fundraiser. I think you probably could call it open. It's not envelope offering, is it, Catherine? So
No.
If you think it fits, and I'd say probably something like open. I think there is another category. I think it's down the bottom, which just says other, but it probably feels like it's probably open. It's more open, isn't it? So.
Well, it's definitely donations. I think we have a couple people that chose to do it that way rather than through the e-offering.
Yeah, no, open sounds a reasonable place to put it.
Thank you.
I guess if they got regular and you sign them, it's another form of e-offering. But anyway, but you want to be consistent on it. Yeah. If someone else has a question, just speak up because we can't see everybody. Okay, I was going to just do a quick review of DIMS. So the last part of the annual returns is to report on your parish officers, synod delegates, etc. There's also other things you feel free to use, but we do need to know if things have changed, roles have changed as of your annual meeting, that we do that. And we do that through DIMS, which is our Diocesan Information Management System. It's an address book, and it also allows us to have people identified in parishes that we can then pull an email list from. So it's very useful for us, for parishes to have the right information in there. It has a few issues, which, one of which doesn't do the online form, the forms anymore, the stats and finance forms, but we have a way around that now. So, but we are maintaining it, hopefully a little longer for this address book capability. As I said, layered, so parishes have an account. Archdeacons have accounts for all the parishes in their archdeaconry, and then we at the Synod office have accounts. It's a web-based third-party service hosted off-site. We can't really. It's an old system, as most of you are aware. We can't really make any changes to it, so we're just kind of keeping it going with the address book functionality. Parish use is normally by a priest, admin assistant. Treasurer normally goes in and does treasurer doesn't need to do it anymore. Treasurer does the finance return otherwise. So it's normally somebody, wardens in parishes where there is no incumbent. It is slightly broken in another way in that you can't add a new person to DIMS. So if you have someone who doesn't currently have a record in DIMS, but who's taken on a parish role, specifically the roles that we're most interested in, warden, treasurer, vestry clerk, and synod delegates and substitutes, it's important to send us. You can send it to me or Donna or Susan or any of the general email addresses that we have, and they're on our webpage under contacts. You can send basically who you need added and the minimum contact information, which is particularly we'd like email address, but also telephone number and what group. So and so has not actually been in DIMS before. You have a new treasurer, then we can add that person to DIMS. It's just that the add does not work for. We have a workaround. Yeah, the add function no longer works. So, however, if the person is in DIMS, and we do ask you to do a real check for that. If it's someone that came from another parish, for example, they might already, and they were a warden there, then they're probably in DIMS. Or even if they were an ACW member, they're probably in DIMS. So this is what it looks like. You log in with your parish login, so you don't have individual logins. It's one parish. Each parish has one account. If you don't remember the password, just ask, or whoever used to do it is not there and you need the password, please ask. In the top corner, you have parish maintain and people maintain. And so parish maintain is for adding parish people to parish groups, whereas people is to update contact information for a specific person, search, and so on. Parish lists will allow you to build a contact list for parish groups. And your reports, again, we don't have the annual parish returns, stats and financial returns in there anymore, but you can go back to pre-22 and look at the last 20 years before that. Or you can at least print your parish profile list, which is all the people in particular roles as they are now. You can print that and then kind of use that to update. So people maintain. This is, you search, see if a person is there. Really, just put in the last name. Don't put too many fields here, or you've got to have them all right. It's going to have to do a full match. So just start with last name. You can start with the last three letters of the last name.
Yeah.
Is that a question or no? Okay. So this is just to see if someone is there.
Go on to their way. Did you tell me that Marie said she didn't want to be the test anymore? I guess that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, watch out, browsers will pre-fill the field for you. So don't do that, just don't go there. So basically put in if you want to search your parish office, entry, you just enter the parish name in the last name field. So last name Riverview, for example, or Hampton, or Restigouche, looking at people who are here. Oops, sorry. So I was surprised that this is a kind of an old screen, actually. There's a lot of Jacobs in there, most of which are my family, except for two. So as they type in Jacobs in the last name, you get a list of the people with that last name, or even some like Jacobsons. If there was any Jacobsons, they would also show up on this list. And then you choose the one that you want. And then you can edit. So if someone's email has changed, you can put that in. And update it. There is a notes field. Just a warning, everybody can see that. So it's not for any private information. So and you update. I already said that. Update contact information when you know it, or take out stuff you know is incorrect. You can use the notes field to record, for example, if an email address change, you can put the date that you made the change. But it is good. So if you see someone in there that is deceased, that you mark it as such, and I'll show you that in a moment, so that we can remove their record from DIMS. DIMS is meant to be a repository of the living, all people currently involved in our parishes. So we do try to clean it out. And yes, you can use this to whatever extent you want. You can put in, although if it's new people, you have to get us to add them, but you're welcome to use it as your own email contact system. So again, that's we're looking at parish maintain here. You see on the left when you go into DIMS. So this is the list of the roles, and then you add people to them. So as I mentioned, there's a deceased category, so you can add a person that you know is in DIMS, add that person, and we occasionally go through those lists irregularly, I will admit, go through those lists and take those people out of DIMS. You can't delete anyone, so from DIMS. You can, however, remove people from a role with the red X. So if so-and-so from Grand Falls is no longer your church warden, then you would press the red X to take them out of that category. And then you would use the Add People button on church warden to put a new church warden in that category. Again, that's not to add them to DIMS. That's to add someone in DIMS to the category. Add people. So if I wanted to add Cheryl Jacobs to the warden as warden of the parish of Andover, then I would, on that last screen, I'll go back, I would choose Add People along church warden there. And then I would come up with something that looks very similar to the search screen that we saw before. The difference is when the list of names comes up, you'll see little check boxes. Okay, so it's Cheryl Jacobs that I want to add to the warden. So I would check Cheryl and then use the select people to put Cheryl in that category. Any questions on that before I go on to some more kind of rules? Again, just you go on mute and speak. Okay, good. So we seem to have had a lot of questions this year, particularly since you've had to send names to us to add into DIMS itself. We don't need to know all your vestry members. we just want to know the wardens. Okay, we would not email all the vestries of every parish. It's just too big a list. So we would email stuff to the wardens. So we don't need to know all your vestry members. We don't need to know all the PAC members. We only need to know the chair and the secretary. So those two categories are there, but there's no place to put other PAC members. That's your parish advisory council or committee. So again, we don't need to add people. If you want to keep track of, go back a little bit, all your ACW members and so on, and you want to add some new people to that, feel free to send us the names you needed added. But we don't need to know that. That's for the parish use. We don't really need to know Sunday school teachers. We don't usually use this anymore for emailing Sunday school teachers, which might have happened more in the past. It's good to know your communications contact, for example. And then I guess I don't have a screen of the whole thing, which I could go look at it live, but there's a parish member role. That is handy if you are taking out someone who's been a warden, they're no longer a warden, they have no other role in the parish, but you want to keep them attached to the parish, you can add them to the parish member category. Then they're not kind of unconnected in the system. So that's just helpful for us for cleanup as well. We do not need you to send us a full parish list of all your kind of vestry members and PAC and ward admin staff and all of that. That again, we just need those main categories filled in DIMS. Parish list. This is what it looks like. You don't, if you're a single parish, you don't need the stuff on the left. That's just, will tell you what archdeaconry you're in and so on. We can see all archdeaconries, all parishes, so that's primarily for us. But you can grab an email list, you can grab stuff sort of formatted for mailing lists, mailing labels, sorry, and you can also pull an Excel spreadsheet of all of your records in DIMS, or you can choose, the wardens or the ACW members or so on. So you can use it for your own use if you want. For example, I have just pulled an Excel spreadsheet of everyone with a role of parish, of synod delegate or substitute. So very helpful for us. Use this as you need it. But parish reports is there as well. You can do your statistics report for 2016 if you want, but you probably don't. But there is one of the options is, I should have updated this page as well. One of the options is a parish profile report. So we'll actually print out all of the names that you have under those various categories. So it's a good way you can hand it around to people and say what's changed. That's probably the only purpose for parish reports at this point. Yeah, there they are. And the baptisms we're not doing in DIMS anymore. Parish officers, that's one, and parish profile if you want to get, as I say, everybody listed in your DIMS in your parish categories. Okay, if you ever need help, call me or Philip or anyone else in the Synod office on these things. But I'm happy to take questions now. I'll stop sharing. So hopefully that's.
Cheryl, do you know, did Jeffrey already give you the updated list of Synod delegates?
Kirsten did, I think, yes.
Oh, Kirsten did, okay.
Yeah, they were updated in that, because I knew who they were, I knew they were updated.
Okay, yeah.
That only applies to one church, but I know who they are, so, yeah. We have noted there are several parishes, they're the same as 2 years ago. Now, that might be what they are, but it also is an indication that they're not updated. So thanks, Catherine. That is, if you haven't updated them, we do need Synod delegates in particular sooner than later this year because of the April Synod.
Do you have a deadline for that list? Do you have a deadline for those delegates?
Well, I said as soon after, it would have been March 16th because that should have been the last, 15th was the last annual meeting. So I did say as soon after that, but I will probably follow up with the parishes that haven't changed and just make sure. Yeah. Any questions on the process in general, or what we're asking of you is, or comments I meant to say on the process, or anything else. We're open to answer other questions that Philip or I can answer today too, unrelated to returns. Parish Rescuers is laughing, so I don't know what they would like to ask.
You're all good, Brenda. Okay.
Oh, we got the rebate from NB Power for the furnace. Should that go under other income or under this reimbursement thing?
A rebate for furnace.
Would that just be against expenses?
It was, it's in revenue because it was.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, it sounds like probably other income, Catherine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be something you'd want to include.
No, I wouldn't normally include that as part of my calculation for shared administration because it's a rebate.
Yeah.
Just like we don't declare any grants you get either from us or government. We don't add that as part of the calculation. Yeah.
So I'll put that under explanations then, what it is.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And congratulations.
Good. Well done. Got a rebate. Excellent. Okay. I've done it.
We do want to get the word out. There are rebates out there, so if you want to do any work, make sure you are looking at what's available. Okay. Well, if there are no questions, we can say goodbye early. Again, feel free to ask, send us a note or call anytime. That's what we're here for. So. Good. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks all. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Have a good day.
You too.